Okay, so I'm back for the fourth and final meeting of It Ends With Us. I'm kind of sad that I'm on the last meeting because, I don't know, I mean, at least I still have another book, but these meetings are actually not bad because I enjoy just, talking. It's, all I have to do is just talk about what I read, and it's pretty easy. And I'd rather do that than, a project, so... yeah, but for a little overview, basically, Lily and Ryle, it kind of fast forwards and they're married and she's pregnant. So, yeah, that's a big thing. I hate that she is still with him at this point in time, but, we'll get to that in a second. But this section essentially starts with Lily waking up with Atlas, actually, and they're just talking and they're connecting, and she ends up writing. I thought this was funny. It was very just nostalgic. She ends up writing another letter, to Ellen in her a diary entry, and she just talks about Atlas, and she discusses her conflicted feelings towards Ryle because she's finally feeling angry at him, but she's also just conflicted with herself because it says she doesn't want to lose the image she has of him. She says it's a sense that I've lost my best friend, my lover, my husband, my lifeline. So she worries over their future child, and having someone take care of him, or it. They don't know what it is yet, actually. And, sorry. Where was I? My notes. Oh, and she just doesn't want to, she has this image of him that he is just everything to her. He's all these things, her friend and her lover, husband, as I said, she just said. So even though she feels like she knows what she should do, she doesn't want to, because she'd be losing a piece of her, and her thoughts just depict this image of him that isn't exactly true, but she feels like she would be losing so much if she cut him out, essentially. But one main thing that she thinks about is, while she is worried about not having someone to help raise her future child, given her own childhood and having watched her mother live through her father's abuse, she decides that she can't return to Ryle because she doesn't want her kid growing up in that toxic environment, seeing the abuse and just continuing the cycle. So she doesn't want to do that, and yeah, she decides that it's best just to leave him, finally, thank gosh. But yeah, so Lily has been spending a lot of time with Atlas too, watching Ellen like they did when they were teenagers. And yeah, so another thing that happened that I forgot to even mention was Atlas, Lily tells Atlas, oh, my hip just popped. Lily ends up telling Atlas about the whole situation and the abuse going on and whatnot, and he's obviously very mad. He's understanding too. He really is just such a caring person and actually listens and hears her, which is really important. But he's obviously upset and tells her that she should leave him, and these conversations keep going on and on and on. She's constantly telling Atlas, updating him on what's happening and Ryle's behavior and whatnot, and he keeps saying that she should leave him, and she kind of just keeps giving reasons. Like, before she actually decided to leave him, she would just keep giving reasons on why she wasn't leaving him and why they're actually good for each other. And one sec. Sorry. And he makes this comment. I forgot exactly what he said, but he's like, oh, you're just like your mom. You're acting just like your mom or something. And that clearly made Lily really upset. And it just really hit close to home for her because my dog is here. Because he just made that comment comparing her to her mother, who she always would, like, see as weak because she wouldn't leave her father. And it kind of just, I guess she didn't realize how deep she was into this abusive cycle, and just hearing Atlas say that really kind of just shocked her, and she was really upset and mad about that first. And, you know, he, like, apologized and stuff, but I think it was something that she needed to hear that she just didn't want to hear. Nala, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, my dog is causing issues. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm back. Nala, stop, come here. Okay, continuing. I think it was something that, you know, she didn't want to hear, but she needed to hear it, because she even goes back to him and was like, I knew you were right, but I didn't want to believe it. So you can see that she is seeing those parallels from her mother and father's relationship, and is realizing, oh my god, my dog is going crazy, I'm sorry. But yeah, so she sees that. As things continue, Ryle does end up leaving, and it skips forward to kind of after he leaves for England, and Lily goes to visit Alyssa. Oh, another thing, Lily ends up telling Alyssa too about the situation, even though Ryle is her brother. She is like, leave him too, because she grew up with him. She can probably see a lot of the signs of narcissism and stuff like that, and just the manipulativeness and how he can have those raging issues and stuff like that. So she definitely can see how, you know, he could act like that. She's not like, oh my god, no, my brother would never, because I didn't really know how she would react, or if Lily was even gonna tell her. I really didn't know what to expect. I thought she would be like, I thought that it would kind of ruin the friendship, and she'd be like, oh my god, no, my brother would do that, but it completely went the opposite way. She was like, oh yeah, leave him. So, I mean, I really respected her for that, like, seeing past the fact that they're, like, related, you know, and looking at his actual tendencies and stuff like that, and the fact that this is not good for Lily, clearly. So, anyways, yeah, this combo basically came up because Alyssa basically confronted Lily, like, sensing that something was strange going on between them, and she basically explains everything that had happened, including her presence, the pregnancy, and, you know, she's bracing herself too for Alyssa to be like, work things out, and Alyssa tells her, like, while Ryle loves you, if I were you, I would leave him, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so after that combo, Alyssa's excited about the pregnancy and swears her partner Marshall to secrecy about it. And, you know, just Alyssa being supportive makes her really happy and gives her some faith about being pregnant, and that hopes that she can actually work things out and stuff like that. So 2 weeks after she tells Alyssa and Marshall about the pregnancy, Lily comes home and sees Ryle. He's shocked to find her pregnant because, oh yeah, he didn't know. She just knew. He's shocked. And Lily's frightened at first, but Ryle says that he won't hurt the kid and brought Marshall along so that Lily feels safe. I mean, this is just so, like, gosh, like, if he has to bring another man with him to prove that he won't hurt you when he's there, he's just definitely not the one. Gosh. When they talk, Ryle apologizes, but Lily feels like he's depicting himself as the victim, and yeah, stuff like that. So, whatever. Weeks later, Ryle shows up again. Like, he basically just keeps, oh my gosh, like, coming back. He shows up at Lily's apartment after Lily's baby shower. Lily hasn't spoken to him for 3 months. She allows him to help her, like, take the gifts to her apartment and feels nervous, knowing that they need to talk about the baby in their future. Ryle offers to, like, assemble a crib, and Lily thinks of how much she misses him and how easy it would be to take him back, but she reminds herself of what her mother told her, that if Ryle loved her, he wouldn't let her take him back. So Ryle, however, appears to want Lily to forgive him, even though he doesn't broach or press the issue. It saddens Lily because even though he's responsible for the situation he's in, she knows how sad he is about it, and then he leaves without discussing anything. And 2 weeks later, Lily finishes the mural she's been working on at her baby's nursery and asks Alyssa and her mother to see it, but they're both busy. She contacts Ryle, who comes over, and they discuss his temper and his relationship with the baby, and she admits that she's thinking about a divorce officially, but needs to make the decision when she's no longer pregnant. And she officially decides that she is going to divorce him. So they end up divorcing, and a few weeks later she ends up finding Atlas again and telling him that she is ready for a relationship, and that's kind of where it ends. So I kind of wish there was a second book, diving deeper into that, but there's not, so I guess you just have to imagine. But I'm very happy with the ending. I will say it wasn't as cliche as I thought it was going to be, because I didn't really know if Atlas, I knew he was important, but as I discussed in earlier meetings, I didn't really know if he would resurface or not. However, once he did resurface and Ryle started getting abusive, it was kind of predictable from there, but there were still some plot twists and stuff, so it kept it interesting. But yeah, she basically tells Atlas that she's ready for a relationship, and I think a big part of that is she also feels like she's gonna need help with the baby, and I think that made her realize some of her true feelings for Atlas, and how she kind of just saw him helping her out rather than Ryle helping her out. So that's kind of an overview, and now since I'm actually done with the book, I'm going to look at some more online questions and answer those. So let's see. Okay, what was your favorite part of the book? I can actually answer this one now. So my favorite part, I think, is definitely when she leaves Ryle. I would say approaches Atlas again at the very end, but it wasn't necessarily my favorite because I kind of saw it coming. But my favorite part was honestly her leaving Ryle, because there was such a build-up of that. Like, I never liked him from the beginning, and she did, and I had to go through basically like all the stages of grief with her and watch her be in denial about the situation, and then she was angry about it, and then she'd make excuses for him, and then she'd be sad because she wouldn't have anyone help her, and she'd miss him, and then she left him, and then she wanted to take him back, and it was just this whole complicated process, and I was just waiting for her to just cut the ties with him. So that was my favorite part, and he's a snob, and I just don't like him. So, yeah. What was your least favorite? My least favorite was when Lily finally gave in to having relations with Ryle, because, you know, I didn't like him. I thought he was cocky and stuff, even from the start, and I didn't know if they were going to end up getting together or not. I mean, I kind of assumed, but it was never, like, it wasn't clear yet, so I still had kind of a hope that she wouldn't, like, get with him, and she did, so that was, like, my least favorite part, because she just kind of, she kept saying how she didn't want to, because she could tell he didn't really see her as much more than just what he wanted. So, yeah, that was my least favorite part. And then, obviously, another one of my least favorite parts was just him, like, abusing her, obviously. Oh my goodness, my dog. Nah. No, come here. But yeah. So, this one says, did you race to the end, or was it more of a slow burn? Well, I read it in 4 parts. I'm surprised I actually did that, because usually with book clubs, I don't follow exactly, like, the set amount of pages that I had for myself. I honestly probably would have finished it in one sitting if I had time, but just with my whole school schedule and stuff, I didn't have time to just read it all at once, so I did break it up into 4 sections. So I wouldn't necessarily say a slow burn, but I think it was more of a slow burn than a race, because, you know, stopping after those parts, like, so much happened in each 4th of the book, I guess you will say. So, yeah. Which scene has stuck with you the most? I mean, honestly, I think the first scene of the book was, like, not the most memorable, but honestly the most, like, descriptive and visual, and the setting really just created an entire feel and induced so much, like, emotional talk and stuff. So, you know, even though I didn't like Ryle, like, I think that scene in the beginning when they're upstairs on the roof outside, like, looking at the sky, talking about their feelings, just really had an impact on the whole book, because that scene was really well written. Like, it didn't even use specific describing words, but just the whole, like, Lily and Ryle going up there to escape stressful situations, it just created so much peace, and it just had a great visual, to be honest. So that scene just stuck with me. So, yeah. Did you reread any passages? If so, which ones? Oh, I don't know. I mean, I reread a lot because I had to do that page in the packet talking about, like, citing your favorite passages and stuff. So I definitely had to go back to some of my favorite parts and find those passages. But
I hope you enjoy your 1 hour of school tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, number 9. What surprised you most about the book? Honestly, the thing that surprised me the most, because, as I said, some of the other parts were a little predictable, was just the fact that Atlas did resurface. I didn't necessarily think he wouldn't, but I was leaning more towards the fact that he was just a fiction of the past, or whatever the saying is, and that he wasn't gonna come back. So, yeah. Okay, the next part is, how did your opinion of the book change as you read it? It got a little more predictable as I read it, I will say, because once Atlas did come back, it was kind of clear. The author, you could tell, started depicting Ryle where the readers are not supposed to like him, whereas in the beginning it was just kind of subtle, and it was like, I bet a lot of people did find him charming and endearing and wanted Lily to get with him, but then you could tell, like, even a little before the abuse, just like the descriptions of him, you could tell that she didn't want us to like him and stuff. So after that and Atlas coming back, it got a little more predictable. So I don't know, that was really my only opinion that changed. If I could ask the author anything, what would it be? I would ask if she would ever consider writing a second book deeper into the, I'm actually not 100% sure that there isn't one. I don't think there is, so I'm just gonna go with there's not. But I would ask her if she would ever consider writing a second one to dig deeper into, like, hello, I'm doing a English meeting. I'll pause.